Hello, I'm Johan Falk at Node 1 Scandinavia. This is the 20th and last exercise in the series called Documentation Site in the book Drupal 7 Essentials. The user story we're going to look at looks like this. It's called "This documentation page also appears in." And it means that when you're viewing a documentation page, you should get a list of the collections where it is included. And when viewing a documentation page in a collection, in the context of a collection, you should get a list of all the other collections where this documentation page is included. Let's see if I can summarize this by reading this user story. A site visitor viewing a documentation page, I would like a list of all collections that include this page. If I'm already browsing a collection, I only want the other collections to be listed. This is important since it may help me find find and use other collections, learning more how to use topics I'm studying. Right, and we have some how to demo stuff. Logging into the site, making sure we have at least 3 documentation pages, making sure that there are at least 2 documentation collections. We'll call them alpha and beta, which is not really necessary here. And that there is at least 1 page that both refer to, so we can check this, that we have this other collection that it appears in. Yep. And they should also be pages they are unique to in referring to. Outside in the collection context, view a documentation page including more than 1 collection. Verify that there are links to the collections. Right. Verify that the links lead to the documentation page viewed in the context of the selected collection. Verify that any currently active selection is not present in the list of collections referring to the viewed page. Okay. Let's go then. This will be very much a views content pane. So why don't we go at it right away? Add a new. We could add a new display to the jump menu we just added in the previous exercise, but that would kind of be a waste. On the surface, they are kind of similar, the 2 displays. But the architecture of them and the information they use will be quite drastically different. So adding a new view here makes more sense. Collections containing the viewed page. It's a good description. And we're going to use a jump menu here as well. It's not obvious. Well, the user story doesn't say what kind of list it should have, but a drop-down menu is a quick and efficient way of doing this kind of stuff. A jump menu containing all the collections referring to a given page. A given collection may be excluded. Right, we're going to show content of type all, unsorted. We're actually going to display collections here. Okay, that might not be very surprising, but we're going to manage that kind of filtering with the contextual filter, so we don't have to set any type filtering here. We don't need a page, we don't need a block, we just continue and edit. So the trick here is, as in the previous exercise, to add contextual filters and relationships in a sensible way. We're going to need information about the currently viewed page, documentation page, and we're also going to need any information about the context of a collection, if there is a collection present. Let's see. Yes, okay. We're going to add a first contextual filter that is a reference, the reference to a page, a documentation page. All right, this is tricky. So and if we don't have anything here, we just hide the view. If this is present, I'm going to comment this a bit more in a short while. If this is present, then we should display the title collections, well, this page collections mentioning this page. That'll be fine. Let's have a validation criteria. The incoming filter value here should be a node ID for a documentation page. Content should be a documentation page. Documentation reference, let's call it that. Okay, so what happens here is that we get a node ID and we want to have all the documentation collections referring to that node ID, because this is a documentation page. Documentation page reference, I should call it. Documentation page reference. So we're filtering by a field, just as we can do with any kind of fields in views. But in this case, it's just that we're filtering on a node reference field. So we're only including collections that refer to a given node ID. That's not very surprising, I guess. Then we're going to add another contextual filter, and that is the node ID of any currently active collection. Sorry, I can't really speak coherently. And if this is not present, then we should display all the results for the specified view. Because this will be optional. If we don't provide any active collection, then just give us all the results. However, if we have an active collection, then we want to enable this little choice here, exclude. Let's call it the active collection. Good. Specify validation criteria. This should be a collection node. Node idea, good. And gonna override the title as well. I'm gonna call it other collections including this page. Mentioning is better to be consistent. Alright, so we have two things here now. We expect to get one or two values into this view, two contextual filter values. One is which page is viewed currently, and that is necessary, otherwise we don't have a chance of getting all the collections referring to it. Then we also have the active collection, if any. Right, from this we should build the fields that we need, and just as with the previous jump menu, we're going to add a node ID. We're going to need the node ID for the listed collections here. Let's change this pager to display all items. Alright, so if, for example, let's save this and get an example so we can kind of see what we're doing here. My test documentation page has node 2. And now in views, if I enter 2 here, I should get all the collections referring to documentation page 2. Since there's only one here, that's not very many, but that's life. Let's see if I can find something else perhaps. 33 maybe. Okay, never mind. Gonna add this 2 here. Tell you what, I'm gonna edit some other collection here. Are there any more collections? Let's add a collection there then. Documentation collection, another collection. Let's have this referred to my example collection and example page. Good. Now there are two nodes with a value 2 in a specified field, so I should get both of these here. Yes, good. Right. Fields. I'm going to add a node ID for the listed collections. Here, I will not use any label. I will exclude this. This will turn into the path used by the jump menu. So I'm going to rewrite this. And I'm going to add node/nid. This is the node ID of the collection, the base object of this view. But then we also have here in the replacement patterns, this is really tricky. We can get the documentation page reference input. So we get here the node ID of the documentation page, which is exactly what we want when we build this URL. Node/nid/!1. Cool. And I'm going to change the label of this to documentation page link. Apply. Right. Then we need the title, and we're actually using the title of the collections. So this is right. We don't need any relationships. We don't even have any relationships here. But as with the previous jump menu, I'm going to add the views result counter here. No, I'm not. It doesn't really make sense to number these. Sorry. That means we're kind of finished here. Change the format into a jump menu. Path field is documentation page link. We're going to hide the go button, and we're going to well, we could select the current filter value, but that won't make any change. Maybe we should actually have the go here, because, well, no, let's hide it. Let's edit this once again. I think this is linked right now. Yeah, we don't need that. And I'm going to give it a title, collection title. Right. Here are the collections containing this, mentioning this page. Cool. Then what? We need a display. Maybe I should save too. Right, we need a display, and I'm going to use views content pane for this. Of course. Pane title. Collection mentioning this page. Right, and a description. Lists all other collections in, well, mentioning this page in a jump menu. Great. The category for this will be, as previously, documentation. Come on. Thank you. And we're going to need to set argument input. The page reference should be a node, and then we collect the node ID. The collection, active collection, is also a node. We collect node ID, but this is optional. We can embed this even if we don't have an active collection. But if we do, that collection will be excluded. That's kind of cool. Okay, so I'm saving this, and I bet you're interested in seeing what this looks like. I know I am. I'm going to record that screencast soon, and I guess that's it. This is probably the last episode you watch of these screencasts. I hope you had a good time, and that you learned a lot, and that you, I guess you'll go back and look at these a few times more, because some of this stuff is kind of tricky. Yeah, 20 episodes. I hope to be adding one or two more about rules, because I can only get together 2 sensible exercises right now. I got into too many bugs and broken functionality. But it should be possible to find more good examples to use. Thank you. Have a good time. Have fun using Drupal. See you.